Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there.
So, guys, these are very, very tumultuous times that we find ourselves in. These are times of great change. There's a lot of great positive things going on the spiritual side, but we also know that there's a lot of things going on that are being orchestrated and manipulated by the darker energies that control this reality that we're in right now.
I know that couldn't be more true than right now today.
So, we always want to focus on what we could do on the positive end. But at the same time, when it feels like we are so close to these major, potentially dangerous events, it's imperative to let people know what could happen as we send our energy out to try to avoid these negative timelines.
Absolutely. That's so important right now.
So, as we said before, it's not good to bury our head in the sand and pretend that things aren't happening. That's not going to save any lives. Yet, at the same time, we don't want to feed the fear, but we should understand what's being manipulated and maneuvered into position and into a possibility.
It's a fine line that we walk here.
So, we got this from one of our good friends, Dr. Joe, sent it to us. And the question is it the start of World War III? Should we prepare? We should prepare because, if you just look at it from the standpoint of how many people have had visions and dreams of this, there's so many people, thousands, maybe tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions. We don't really know. I did this video just about 3 years ago. And so it was entitled Visions of the Future, Alien Invasion, and U.S. Invaded by China and Russia. And so as I've shared with you guys, since I was 19, I've had these visions. Sometimes they come to me when I'm just standing there, staring. Have you ever had that where you're staring at a wall and all of a sudden stuff comes to you?
Yeah, definitely. For sure more lately. Anyway.
Well, I was walking up. I was late from work, and I was walking up the back stairs in an apartment, my first apartment I was ever in. And I was just I stayed there and just stood there staring out at the night sky, and then I was getting these visions. And then I've been haunted by this in dreams as well, where they keep coming back and they keep giving me a little bit more fuller picture.
Yeah, this is not something that's taken lightly.
No, so I just wanted to play just a little excerpt from you because, it's easy to look at things now and say, wow, it feels like we're really close to a breakup of the U.S. And there's signs that, Russia and China are doing some unusual maneuvering, and we are too with our military posturing. Easy enough to say that now, but here this is just about 3 years ago. This is 2 years and 11 months ago, and just it sounds like I'm talking about today. There's also troops involved, and they're dropping soldiers, and there's military mobilization going on, and it feels like the United States is being invaded. And I could see them. I could see the troops, and I could feel that where I am, it's warm. And at that time, the very first time I was living up in Connecticut, and then once I had the dream in South Carolina, that was the clearest. And where I'm seeing the troops, it's very warm. It feels like it's somewhere in the southeastern United States, where I currently am living. And I can see them clearly being dropped from helicopters en masse, and it's cloudy, and there's helicopters that pop into these big dark rain clouds that you get down south and then pop out, and different troops dropping down, and people are running, and people are becoming refugees, and they're moving away from the coast, and they're moving up, especially from South Florida, because it feels like South Florida is a place where troops have landed and not ours. So here it feels like the United States is being invaded. The only thing that more the logical mind is saying is basically Russia, China, and others
are the ones doing it, but I didn't see those troops. But I knew and kept hearing from people that they've landed, down around Miami and down around the Everglades, and they're moving on up. And there's a huge refugee swell of people rushing away from that area and heading up northward, trying to get up away from where the troops have landed. And I also feel in those dreams there's troops coming in from like Mexico, as well as coming down from Alaska and Canada into the United States as well. And people are just in a panic, and people are just running and becoming refugees, and en masse. And I'm in there with them, and I'm helping carry this older man who had 2 feet blown off from something, some sort of explosion. So he's missing his feet, and I know we have to climb some steps, and it's really hard getting them up the steps wherever we are, and that was something that stuck with me. And so it's that part's always stuck with me. And then at that point, I remember hearing people say they're only 20 miles behind us and heading this way.
So I'll give you guys the link to that one. It's interesting too because there's only 46 thumbs up now, but there was like way more than that before, so things get rolled back. But that's what I saw going back to 1984, and then again several times, and then in 2007 a much more complete vision. But it's happened on a regular basis. So this article, you have somebody that says that the U.S. military was briefed on possible invasion by China and Russia. I'll give you guys the links. He brings up everything we've talked about. Why are the aircraft carriers positioned the way they are? They're totally in a defensive posture around the U.S., as well as in a position to also strike back at China. And you see here, West Coast along the Oregon-Washington border, USS Carl Vinson. West Coast off the coast of San Francisco, the USS Essex. West Coast off the coast of LA, USS Theodore Roosevelt and its strike group. Most of the time I've seen that out in the the China Sea area. East Coast off the coast of Connecticut, USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. East Coast off the coast of New Jersey is the USS Gerald Ford. And off the coast of South Carolina is the USS Iwo Jima. This is a strong defensive posture. It looks like they're expecting something. And obviously, just look at what we have going on geopolitically. Of course, an adversary would view this as potentially a prime opportune time to strike.
They would. And I know there's been a lot of information leading up to this point, a lot of things coming out and saying, okay, now's the time. And it's like, and I do every day, I think, okay, what else can happen before this straw breaks the camel's back? And I feel we're here.
Yeah, Corey Good did a tweet today basically saying what we said back on August 6th, that brace yourselves because the lights could be going out in different areas at different times. He said he's getting this information, from his sources, which he's talked about as well for many, many years. But it just felt like the same message that we gave on August 6th. Real probability, possibility that there could be MLAW. If you guys know what I mean going on, be prepared, be stocked up. Tomorrow we have a freer day, so we're going to go do another food shopping. And as well as candles. We got to stock up on candles. More things like matches, lighters, etc. That type of stuff. Be ready. Be very, very ready because we don't know how this is going to go down exactly. But I've talked about George Washington's vision, which is in the Library of Congress, which talks about the U.S. being invaded, which feels like in these days there are so many people, like we said, that have seen this. And of course, we talked about A. Pike. 1871, 3 WW apostrophe S's. We've talked about this. We are loaded with military transport crap going on right now. We've had so many war games going on that we witnessed over in Nevada, as well, and still people are talking about it. We've seen so much activity every day. I'm hearing stuff go overhead, and then check Flight Tracker. Monkeyworks is a good guy to follow on Twitter and also on YouTube. He keeps track of all this. He is also saying that there's a ton of stuff going on that they're not showing us as far as the military movement. It's absolutely unprecedented. Here you have a strong statement by the Commandant of the United States Marine Corps on Twitter. Be very confident that all your Navy and Marine units that are deployed around the world, they're ready for any crisis, any contingency. And we're working very hard to make sure that we're going to stay in front. It obviously, if you guys have been following everything, I've been following this person who is an attorney. And, this warning was out talking about, the submarine fleet.
Mm-hmm.
And, people have seen that too. They've seen that it, that's how it comes down. Just off the coastline, we've seen the fact that those hypersonic missiles, they would only, they could literally be here in just like 90 seconds. 90 seconds, no time to respond. There's a lot of different tweets coming out, time to execute, and different things going on. We've never seen this type of movement. We've never seen this type of posturing in our lives, even at the peak of the Cold War. And, there's articles all over the place, talking about this. And there does look like there's movement going on in this regard as well. As you see, if China invades Taiwan, Taipei plans to throw 1,000 tanks on the beachhead. There's been military sales to Taiwan, which has ticked off China even more. They know what's coming. And it doesn't mean that this would happen immediately concurrent with, say January 20th, for instance, or January 6th or anything like that. It might come months later when things are devolving here and the true left-right battle is really, really underway. That might be when they do. But then again, we know the people that rule this roost really pay attention to Vedic astrology. And so they might utilize December 21st energy to create this complete chaos.
Yeah, well, they've proven in the past that they've used astrology many times and certain alignments to give things a certain shove and put them in place for certain momentum and just sort of let the world unfold and let things happen. They've proven to do this over and over. I've seen this done so many times, and usually something comes out of it, and I'm just waiting for that time, when there's just enough tension for them to give just a little shove for everything to explode, kind of.
Yeah, and we asked Laurel about the possibility of this scenario happening in this time frame, and it was basically, I think she said, about 40% as far as a probable timeline right now. So, again, we want to put out our positive intentions. We want to keep waking up the world to what's going on. No reason for us to be fighting amongst ourselves, because all we're going to do is weaken ourselves, and then will come the crushing blow.
Right. We need to conserve our energy, and, any energy that we do have that's excess, take that energy, transform it into a positive energy, and put it out toward a positive timeline instead of being angry with your neighbor, frustrated with your family. Take that energy back and put it out for something positive.
Yeah. I see two different things. I see looking at like an African plain, and when you have, say, an injured lion, then the hyenas will circle him and they'll start to nip at his butt. They'll nip at the hindquarters and the legs. One will distract him in the front, another one will come up from behind and just slowly wear him down. And, that's what feels like is happening right now with this country.
Oh yeah, for me, that's definitely that's what they're doing to us. They're wearing us down, flooding us with information, trying to desensitize us and catch us at our worst.
So, as always, we need to be prepared as best as possible, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, wake up our family members and get them to prepare. We often hear from people that say, I can't get my spouse to wake up. I can't get them to, spend a little bit extra so we could get some, rice, beans, and lentils that are put away just to cover us in case they don't think anything is going to happen. They think, oh, it's going to be another, 2000K event, or, just another one of these things that comes and goes and everything goes back to normal. These are not normal times, not at all. We are in amazing times of change.
Yeah. So, if your family is just not listening, just don't get angry. Take it upon yourself. Get that little bit of extra rice, get that little bit of extra beans, and just do it. And then you have that peace of mind.
And, Dutch Sense always says, have an earthquake plan. Know your routes. Have more than one route planned out in case you had to evacuate from your area. Well, the same thing with this, too. Have plans of evacuation. If you had to evacuate from your area, work out with friends and family members to have a plan and say, okay, well, if something comes down, you're welcome at my house, or am I welcome at your house? Can we come over to your place? And think of different possibilities and share it with each other.
Yeah, and definitely double check and confirm these things with family, and then physically write down the addresses, because we may not have electronics to fall back on.
That's a great point. As always, guys, thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Anybody that needs to schedule a session with us, reach out at EEARTS at Proton Mail or evolutionaryenergyarts at gmail.com. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.